What's up with it, y'all? I know it's been a while, but I actually been taking time to focus on my tech channel, and I actually was gonna be done with gaming altogether pretty much, but I decided to come back and talk about a couple of updates that Undisputed has dropped, and talk more about things that can be improved also. So let's get into the first update. Update 1.3.1 fixed an issue where punches wouldn't be blocked if the block button is pressed after the punch animation starts. To me, the blocking is still kind of I mean, it all goes to like the head movement and evasive movements. If those are tweaked, that's gonna solve a lot of them problems. Right now, we have to heavily rely on our block, but we're gonna talk more about that when we get to that point of the next update. Fixed an issue where punches and blocking will lock up when feinting a punch. I personally experienced that, and I'm somebody who rarely even use the feint system. So that just goes to show you how bad it probably really was. But I did notice they changed some feint animations. Fixed an issue where slips and dodges would move in the wrong direction. I've been talking about this for a long time. Like, I've been affected by this for so long. I just remember playing live just losing my mind over this shit because it was that bad. Like, you would literally try to step to your left and you would step right, and vice versa. It was just a headache. Now, I can't say if it stopped or not or if it was truly fixed, because with me, when something is happening a lot, eventually I just stop noticing it and I just adapt to it. So I can't really truly say if it's fixed because I stopped paying attention to it. It was just like something expected. So hopefully it is fixed. Also want to note that I'm only speaking for the offline players. Y'all know I don't play online, so things are different online versus offline. So just wanted to leave that out there right quick. This is something I noticed on my own. I don't remember seeing it in an update, and I don't remember which update it was, but they added more fighter punch styles for caps. So that's a plus for me. I don't know why, we can't get all the fighters punch style, but who knows? But it'll be good to add that, SCI. It will really be good to add that. I also noticed that commentary has gotten a lot better too. And that goes for fighters that we already had in the game, DLC fighters, and caps too. It actually used to crack me up because they would say the cap's name and like say a little joke with it, like for instance, Spaceman needs some space, man.
And make some space, man, for Spaceman.
Like, it's corny, but it's good to hear, Update 1.3.3 gameplay improvements. We worked our invasive movements to make them more viable. Players will now be able to use a dodge, slip, weave, and diagonal dodges to avoid punches and counter their opponent. Block punches will now cost less stamina than a missed punch, but more stamina than a landed punch, which makes sense. The stamina's a little better, I don't agree with you throw 2 or 3 punches and your stamina is drained. Like, I always say this, a lot of this stuff I said already, these are trained boxers, man. They can throw a 3-piece and not be completely drained. But I also understand why they did that, but I feel like sometimes people complain about the smallest things and you can't just jump on that. There's bigger issues that affect the game that should be worked on. But it's getting better. Now let's talk about the invasive movements. Yes, it is better. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and act like it's not. But to me, it feels like it just got back to where it was before, because I'm using the timing I used to use before. That seems to work, because before they changed it back, a punch can follow you all the way to the floor. Like, if you going all the way down here, that punch following you, and that was just absurd. So I think they just fixed the tracking a little bit, or they scaled back the tracking, if that makes sense. I don't know, I don't make games. The biggest issue with the slipping of punches is once you slip a direction, you have to return back to the center line. So even if you want to slip, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be slip. You know what I'm saying? And that's not realistic. Yes, you're going to always pass by the center line when you're going from right to left or left to right, but you don't snap here and then go down. You do that if you're trying to set somebody up. But you don't just, you get what I'm saying? So if they fix that, that'll solve a lot of the problems with it. I understand they don't want to have it OP, of course, but just not let us have to snap like that. You know what I'm saying? We'll get the timing down of how to use it, but that has to go. It really has to go. Sidestepping is tuned pretty good. I was somebody who complained about that a lot because of, then you step. Like nobody really does that, you know. Even in the heavyweight division, it's not that much of a delay. You get what I'm saying? But it is usable now. They just need to tone back the animations or the animation frames or whatever. We get it. You trying to make it look more realistic, but we need this to actually be usable. If it looks kind of fake, I'll take that over it just not being usable, but it looks real because people are not going to use it. And then nobody's going to see how it really looks. But I've got some pretty good counters off of it, so I'm good with it for now, or at least so far. So there you go. Weaving is a different story. The whole problem with the weave mechanic is you can't extend all the way back. And that's because of the placement of the rear foot. I see some fighters have the foot placement right. When you're leaning back, you don't just go back. You also lean down. Hopefully you can hear me on the mic. You lean down also, but you need space between your rear leg, your lead leg and your rear leg. And then you can extend back a little more because you also dip down. You don't just lean back. That's how you get knocked out. You know, so they kind of put you in a predicament to where you really have to do that block cheese with it. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise you're going to get knocked out. You just sitting up with your chin exposed versus, you know, leaning down with it. You can probably keep the spacing of the legs, but give you that dip down with it also. Because otherwise you got to kind of turn like this. But in real life, you can, you know, dip down. You know what I'm saying? Bugs fixed. We're going to skip through these and we're going to go straight to this one because it's stuff that I don't deal with. Fix the bug where body jabs and strikes would cause damage even if the opponent was blocking high. I've dealt with that. This happened all the time to me and it used to drive me insane. I think I played a little bit before I recorded this video and I do remember it not being an issue, but the minute they would block, you know, do a high block or anything, the punch would just hit the block because I guess that's what all the body punches was aiming at. So that kind of helped expose another issue about where the body shots was landing. That's just extremely too high. But of course I get used to things, but this, I think I have noticed it. Before I go, I just want to say that I never really stopped playing this game. I never like to put on an impression like, hey, I'm not playing this game. That's not me. I do play this game because I believe in, you know, if I pay for something, I'm gonna try my hardest to make it fun for me. You know, I'm not trying to impress nobody else. I want to have fun with the thing I spent my money on. That just come from the way I grew up. You know, you make do with what you got, but I can't be mad at people for feeling the way they feel. So I just haven't been playing the game as frequent as I used to, but since this update came out, I jumped back on and off, you know what I'm saying? But the main issue that drives people away from this game is the fact that the simplest things, that like the basics of boxing, are the major problems in this game. And when you can't do the basics of boxing, you really can't do much. You know, it will frustrate you, especially if you're a true boxing fan or somebody who's a fighter or have that experience. It will drive you insane. So I'm not gonna sit and say this game is perfect when it is not. I remember when they officially launched this game, like the first official launch, I was so excited. Like, it was a totally different game. I'm not gonna say that the betas and all that was, because I didn't play the betas, I played early access. That's what I played, that early access when you had to pay. And you know, but from what I've seen, I don't know, bro. When y'all first launched this game, it was halfway there. I feel like work off of that version of the game if you could, and then add all the things that need to be added. But you have to get the evasive movements down pat, because that, you can't just sit there and block the whole time. You have to be able to use your feet, get on your bike, run away. If you see a boxer who's getting bombarded with a bunch of punches, unless they are seriously hurt and against the ropes, they're not gonna just, they have to be able to get up out there, get up out, even if they're hurt, try to get up off the ropes, you know what I'm saying? And we don't got this type of head movement. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that. We just don't. Even if you're using weaving and you blocking this, and then if you move fast, it doesn't work. So that has to be one of the things that get worked on for real. One more thing, add punch canceling back. I don't care if you just have to add it to offline only, because me personally, I don't care about cancel punches being counted as real punches, because I'm not the type of player that play for the decision. I play to knock people out. So that's why I say, you know, you don't have to add it to the competitive parts of the game, like online and stuff like that, but at least for offline, or give us the option, you know, just like I got the option to do simulation, and then you can do the 6-axis blocking and stuff like that. So just add that for me. But that is all I have to say. If you watched to the end of this video, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for your time. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, comment, like, do all that good stuff, man. But this is B.C.P. Untamed, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Peace.